Thanks for checking out DragTheBar.com, the next generation of poker training. We offer training videos in Hold'em, Pot Limit Omaha, multi-table tournaments, sit and goes, and even backgammon from some of the top coaches in each field. For a more complete look at our content, we'd like to remind you to visit our video lobby for a free 5-minute preview from each of our coaches.
The plan here is if he does call the flop bet, I'm gonna put him on like probably a decent overpair, maybe tens or maybe something like eights, like a hand that wants to see a turn and see if I'll check it down to let him take it with his middle pair. Little does he know that's not what we're going for right here. Also, with this bet sizing, we leave a little bit less than a pot size bet left if we do decide to put it all in on the turn. He is gonna have to put his tournament life, guys, at jeopardy here. I honestly don't think he would call unless he had like a really big pair like aces or kings or queens, or maybe if he had he'd obviously call if he had a set. But I just got the impression that he had a hand, like a big hand, but he was scared to call regardless. So I just decided to put him to the ultimate test here with my pair. Like I said, we're not drawing dead probably unless he does have a set. But we dragged the bar here. Yeah, that's where they got it from. Tell your friends about it. And he folds pretty fast. It's actually pretty funny hand. He actually ended up telling me what he had later on. I don't know whether I should believe him or not, but from what I've seen so far of his play, I would totally believe it. He said he had tens, and that would make sense. I would be snap calling there with tens for him. I would actually have shoved pre-flop over my 3-bet. But like I said, we had a read on him. We went with it, and it worked out. So we've already started to chip up here on the bubble, and you'll see that we continue to do so.
So I'm call with fours here to the open in the small blind, and he bets six, which is half pot. I'm gonna float this flop here with fours. Turn brings another king, so I'm pretty much playing the board, and he checks. So I'm gonna make a bet of $12, just about half the pot here, and hope to take that one down a decent amount of the time. Alright, he calls, and the river is another ace, and he checks to me again. I'm gonna overbet the pot here, and because I just don't think he has an ace there ever, and think I can take it down a lot, and king no longer plays. So basically he'd just be calling for a split with pretty much anything unless he check called that turn with an ace, which I don't think he does very often. So I think an overbet there is good. I bet $68 into 46 and was able to take it down.
Let's say you have 4-5 of spades, and the flop comes down king 9-4. You end up getting all in on the flop against your opponent who flips over ace-king. If we look at our outs here, we need to get either a 4 or a 5 on the turn or river to give us 2 pair and beat his pair of kings. There are 3 5s left and 2 4s, giving us 5 outs total. If we were playing on TV, they would give us an 18% next to our hand. Our opponent would have the remaining 82%. I'll show you how to get these percentages in the next lesson. However, for now, I want to show you the impact a backdoor flush draw has. Instead of our board being king 9-4 with a 9 being a diamond, let's change it to king 9-4 with the 9 being the 9 of spades. This is the same suit as our 2 cards. Now if the turn and river both are spades, we would have a flush. This is a chance for improvement we didn't have when there was no spade on the flop. If this were on TV, we would have 22% and our opponent would have 78%. This is about a 4% increase for us, and this can come in pretty handy.
this. So I bet 2/3, and he does call me, which reconfirms that he has, maybe like tens, jacks, maybe even ace king. He didn't like being pushed around, so I think it's very possible he has one of those hands, even ace king. He checks it to me, and I just barrel. I barrel off, and so I ship 250 into 335, and he does fold. So I just thought that hand was very telling of how he plays kind of his 3-bet range. I think he went into check call mode and tried to start playing defense.
Okay, now the next of the forced plays that we'll take a peek at is 5-3, and by now you can probably guess how we're going to play this. We'll take a checker off the 8, move it 5 pips forward to the 3-point, and then we'll take a checker off the 6 and move that 3 pips forward, so we'll use it to make the 3-point. Now, this is still a good opening roll because we have made an inner board point, but notice that the point is now far enough down in our board that it doesn't have an awful lot of blocking value. It's not hard for white to start moving his back man and get beyond the 3-point and try to make an anchor in this area here on the 4 and the 5. So the 5-3 play doesn't have that blocking strength, but it's still an inner point, and it's still a pretty good point to make. Now, this is an idea that really has only clarified in the last 20 years or so. If you played backgammon in the 1970s, you would have seen a different way of playing an opening 5-3.